No, okay, no. You can't come in. I don't have my underwear off yet.
Hey, come here. There's a bunch of comedians hanging out with some friends. You're not supposed to be here, but if you're cool, you can come and hang. If you've ever been offended by anything, don't come in.
I invite my friends who fucking have nothing to do. All I do is buy string cheese. I go out 3 times a day and buy string cheese. I didn't get a fucking call to be on this cruise.
You guys know Jamie, right?
Yep.
I always introduce Jamie as the son I never aborted.
On stage, you do introduce me that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, like not in conversation, like setting me up, then the audience looks horrified and I have to win them back in the first 5 minutes.
I met Jamie, he was living in his car in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Good choice.
Yeah.
That's where you want to set up shop, is Albuquerque.
Well, no, we were just passing through Albuquerque. We were essentially driving to any place that would book us. My wife and I, I was a failing comic, and she was a failing writer, and all we wanted to do was say we made a living as artists. So we thought if we left our apartment and didn't have rent, technically we would be making a living as artists. So I was playing this like poetry festival out in Albuquerque, which is when you saw me.
Poetry festival.
Can we get a little example of this? Come on, you guys want to hear a little poetry? Come on, what? You gotta. All right.
It's the total opposite audience than your audience.
Can I bring up that I've had nightmares of Ron White standing over me saying, read me a poem, like, and I think it just happened.
It did. Let's my favorite piece of yours, and it's not poetry, it's comedy.
No, it's stand-up now.
Do that one joke. Do that one joke about gay rights. Do you want to stand?
Ron, would you like me to stand or sit?
You
or
just sit right where
okay,
you
cool.
are, so you can't get away if it sucks.
Sure. To every heterosexual, mentally abusive, closet racist, fast food feeding, let your kid run around a mall like a psychopath parent, why do you have like 9 fucking kids, yet you say that gay folk can't adopt because it might screw the child up, and I know. America thinks that every time a gay couple adopts a child, it forces otherwise straight and homophobic Pastor Ted Haggard to hire a gay male prostitute and engage in a week-long meth-induced fuck spree. I know. He didn't want to do it, you guys, but then a gay couple adopted, and it forced him to take an injection of another male prostitute cock. I know, I get it. But I say just because your man bits fit into some girl bits doesn't mean you have to have kids. Do you know how many straight parents shouldn't have children? Go to a movie theater or an IHOP on a Sunday. And don't tell us that 2 men or 2 women in the bedroom may cause a child to question his sexuality. Any kid basing his sex life on the sounds coming from his parents' bedroom is already fucked beyond repair. If God designed marriage for a man and a woman, then statistics say that God is failing. That is below failing. Just look at otherwise straight and homophobic Pastor Ted Haggard, who's married with children, but hired a gay male prostitute to shame fist him into a meth coma. But you say that being gay is immoral? Really? More immoral than shame-fisting? Because I would rather have my kids being raised by the flaming queer couple down the street than have them spend another night at the church with Father Diddly Hands. Is that why you want adoption-restricted, church? You keeping all the young ones for yourself? Church, if you really think that a child should only be raised by a married couple, then I have an idea. Let the gays marry, asshole. These are people who will raise a child for a better reason than the condom broke. You give me one valid argument besides, but God made Adam and Eve and not Adam and Steve. Really? Because by the looks of it, Adam and Eve fucked up big time, and maybe Adam should have explored other options. So stop fucking telling us that the Bible says that being gay is unnatural, because I've read the Bible, and there is a lot of unnatural shit that happens in that book. I would say that a dude dying, then rising from the dead in a zombie-esque fashion is far less natural than me sucking a cock. Because at least cock-sucking you can prove.
Wait a minute, I'd like for you to try it standing up.
That was harder than the three of us have worked in 60 years.
That's one joke.
I know.
And another thing.
I met him at a gig. We had the same manager at the time. He goes, "Oh, I'm going to send this young guy up to open for you." So he and his wife come in the green room. They're talking about how they're living in their car. And I thought, well, if I was this girl, this guy better be really fucking funny or really good in bed. Because who the fuck would live in a car with an opening act? I mean, maybe. No. I mean, I might live in a car with a feature and a middle, a high-paid middle, 700 in air, maybe. But he went out and blew my mind. He was so funny, right? Then I kept thinking, wait, we have the same manager? He needs someone better. Like, I thought, wow, when he's done, I'm gonna be like retard central, and these people are gonna be so happy to see me, because that's like going to college.
Jamie's so politicized. In fact, he does a great podcast called Citizen Radio with his wife, Allison Kilkenny. The fact that, you know, the blue-collar audience is perceived, at least, to be right-wing. Your crowd's perceived to be left-wing.
If you looked at my crowd, when they come in a room, I gave up on judging what the fuck people think. I got people coming in with, like, spikes through their eyeballs and fucking tottering in at the age of 962 and an 8-year-old that has got ADHD, but he loves the word fuck, and so I'm his favorite person. So the spectrum of people who watch me are not really, I've got just as many conservatives watching me as I do the other side.
I'm curious about something, particularly with you. You're a blue-collar comic.
Sure.
Right? Yeah. And why didn't you do the series?
I got a work ethic problem, and they were all really aware of it.
What are you saying? You didn't get her done?
I didn't get her done. I did not. People have put more effort into tubing a river than I have put into this career.
The thing that's fascinating to me about the whole blue-collar comedy phenomenon,
Right.
is that most of us associate it with a particular political philosophy. We consider it as being right-wing, Christian America, the antithesis of what we imagine your crowd to be. But nobody on that blue-collar tour does political material, right?
I didn't watch it. I was an opening act on that tour, and so was Larry the Cable Guy. We did 10 minutes apiece. I would go on first, then Larry would go on, and then Bill Engvall would do 50 minutes, and then Jeff would do 50 minutes. Now, I drink on stage no matter what, and I drink this drink, scotch and ice cubes. So I go on, I have a drink. By the time it came for me to come back on stage and do the little encore at the end, I was baked.
You are, in fact, an alcoholic, right?
I only drink when I work, and I'm a workaholic.
Is my impression of the blue-collar comedy crowd true, you think?
You know, I don't know. Larry and Dan and I did a tour after that called the Dirty Collar Comedy Tour, or some kind of version of the original one, but it was going to be he and I that headlined till I had a big fight.
Sounds like a
with
licensing conflict.
Yeah, right, it was. And so you'd have my fans, and there's a big crossover group, but it's a little bit different because the diehard Larry the Cable Guy fans dress like him and they look like him. And they have literally sleeveless t-shirts.
A long time ago, I went somewhere to work with him for the night, and they had a Larry the Cable Guy look-alike contest, and there were like 10 of them, and I go, but that's their clothes.
They picked them out of the line.
You shouldn't get a prize for just showing up in your real clothes. I mean, it's not like Gay Guys doing Cher where there's a lot of effort going on here.
So how much of a character is Larry? It's really Dan, right?
I tell you, it's a little bit of a character. His father was a preacher and a pig farmer from Nebraska, so you add those two together, you get Larry the Cable Guy. So, and he's a great guy. I just watched him write a check to Arnold Palmer's Children's Home for $5 million. And I was like, really?
Just to teach kids golf? Seem right.
These kids are struggling with their games, Paul.
You know, I wrote the intro to his book.
That's right, you did. I
did, and the reason I did it was I was pissed at people giving him shit for busting his hump and fucking getting to a point where he's successful and then saying that, you know, he was a right-wing lunatic. Now, he is, but, you know, you don't call somebody out for that because it's not really his act.
And
His act is like, you know, hee-haw to the 10th power. And I don't think there are any sides left anymore, to be honest, because both sides, to me, both sides are so deeply mired in shit that it is beyond my comprehension how to do what it is I'm supposed to fucking do anymore.
But here's the thing, the whole right-left thing is a bell, but most of us are at the top of the bell. But we don't hear about that. We only hear the extremist position, so we assume everybody's either
Well, as of late, I don't think we are on a bell. I don't know what we're at. I do know this. I do know that there's a certain group of people in the country who believe in the individual to the point of it's the most important fucking thing on the planet is the individual. And me, I'm it. And then there's another group of people who believe that government, a collective, the group, and that's the most important thing on earth. So that you have a group of people who read Ayn Rand and fucking took a piece of fiction. How do you read fiction and come up with a political philosophy?
Ask Christians.
It's fiction. It's fiction. Christians, I don't give a shit. That's a book that somebody at least comes up with some mumbo fucking jumbo and stands there in a hat and does some fucking shaky things. And it makes it work. I'm talking about somebody by themselves reading a goddamn book and then coming out with this libertarian thing and the beyond that we are it. I am the most important thing on the fucking planet. And that we are teetering at that position now where these people believe that the individual is so profoundly important and that government and the collective is a piece of shit. And that's because of communism. If you allow this group of people to actually work together, we're fucked. Because the next thing you know, we'll all be on farms, fucking working together and singing those shitty communist songs. We're at this point now, I think, where it's not liberal conservative, it's psychotic and idiotic.
Jamie?
Yeah.
Jamie? That's poetry.
I've got a poem.
Can you stand up?
I'll stand up, okay. I turned down a three-way last night because it was one of those things where it was two guys and me.
So you work more in the haiku vein.
Yes.
I do. I don't even know what that is.
I'm not sure either, but Lou might know.
I do. Sushi.
Oh, right.
Yeah, haiku, that's like whatever fish they caught yesterday. I like that joke better than the crowd. Fuck you. Seriously, a lot of my act is now fuck you. You didn't laugh? Fuck you. I thought it was funny. I worked on it,
Right.
at least for 10 minutes. Fuck you. You know, and you sit there with your judgment. I don't need it. You never hear a good sushi fucking joke.
Are you aware of your audience's politics, or do you eschew it completely?
I got to tell you, it's all about laughs. I've not made a point in 24 years.
I mean, I think telling stories is a lot different, you know, no matter who you're telling them to. It would be one thing if you guys were like, we're the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, now let's go kill an abortion doctor.
I would say close with that.
Close with that?
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I don't think you open.
I think that's the T-shirt. Right, exactly, right?
What was that? This is Matt Kirshen, very funny comedian, my friend of mine, came all the way from the UK. Tell him about the first time you ever met a Texan.
In fact, I'd just been on Last Comic Standing and went and did a show in Atlanta. I was sat next to this Texan couple. The guy from the couple recognized me from the show. He was so Texan, he genuinely got me to autograph his gun magazine. I think it's because he can't bring the real gun on anymore. He gets to
Right.
look, it's like Texan porn. He started listing the other people he remembered from the show. And he went, yeah, and there was this big black fella. And his wife just went, Ken, no!
You know what's weird? In the South and in the Midwest, like even though like I am overtly political, like I've had like some of my like best audiences ever because they're not as like apathetic as like New York or LA would be, you know? But when I went to do the morning radio, it was this right-wing country station that they wanted me to do.
Did you do that poem?
No. I opened the show the night before where like the mic was really high because the opener was taller than me, and I lowered it and I just said some dumb line where I was like, let's get this down to tiny Jew height, and that was it, right? And so we're going up and the owner of the club goes, yeah, when you go on this station, just do the Jew jokes. And he's like, they love anti-Semitic stuff. But then I'm like, this guy's just exaggerating, and he takes me aside and he does like the comedy club owner thing where they've been around forever, and he's like, let me tell you something, kid. Lisa Lampanelli came to this city. She was talking about the blacks, she was talking about the Mexicans, and we were standing right here, and I said, Lisa, you go on that station and you talk about the Jews. And Lisa said, but I've never talked about the Jews. And he goes, Lisa, get in there, like a fucking Little League coach, get in there, and you talk about those dirty fucking Jews. And she goes on, and we sell out the entire week, right? And so I go in there, and I'm like, he's kidding, he's being like hyperbolic. Before we go on air, the first thing the host does, he looks at me and he goes, you're the comedian? Yep, shakes my hand, looks down at the list and goes, Jamie Kilstein, eh? Then the club owner's trying to hype me up, and he goes, you know, Jamie's manager manages Robin Williams and Woody Allen. And this guy goes, Robin Williams, is he a Jew? And I go, I don't know, man. And then he goes, I know Woody Allen's a Jew. And I was like, we all know Woody Allen. Wait, are we making a fucking list? And then we went on air, and that was it. But like, that's how some of these stations fucking roll down there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna, do you guys still do, like, now that you have like such built-in audiences, do you still have shows where you don't like them, even though they like you and they're there to see you?
If somebody paid to see me live, I like them.
Yeah.
I do. I like them. I appreciate it.
And I even like my drunks. Like I got really heckled by this lady. I have a lot of alcoholic fans, but that's fine. That's absolutely fine. But she was really older and quite hammered, and she was yelling from the balcony of the theater because all I said was I hadn't finished anything. I just said I can't listen to Sarah Palin because now you don't know what I'm going to say, right? You don't know if it's going to be good, bad, indifferent, and she loses it in the balcony, and she goes, "This is ridiculous! God damn it! I love you, Kathleen, but don't go down this road. Don't go down this road." And I was like, really? Like, really? Like it's like my Aunt Nan's gonna throw it down with me in a theater? And this went on and then the theater guys were like, oh, we'll get her out, we'll get her out. I go, no, let her stay, because I don't mind talking to a drunk. That's my family. But other people did pay to come and see me, so it's not really fair. And I'm like, well, if you're gonna take her out, keep her in the lobby. I'd like to continue this after this is over.
Or
I
maybe
didn't
it's
want them
because
to throw her out.
Nobody, no matter even how much you might like Sarah Palin, can actually envision a positive joke about Sarah Palin.
Yeah.
Right?
But I mean, I didn't hate that lady.
I had a little flack from a Sarah Palin joke.
What was your joke?
My joke was that I was looking at, you look at the Palins, Sarah Palin and Bristol and Levi and Willow. It turns out that Trig is the brains in the family.
Don't go down that road! You leave Trig out of this motherfucker! Son of a bitch, they're just kids!
I made the decision after she was nominated, and I heard her speak the first couple of times after a couple of weeks, and I knew she was like, for me, a mother lode. But I was so shocked that she was running. It stunned me so much. I said on stage, I wouldn't make jokes about her because I could not live in this world if I believed she was a real person. And so, I have, for the entire time that she's been around, treated her as a hallucination.
I love talking to you about the time you did the White House press corps dinner.
Yeah.
You were right there in the belly of the beast.
Yeah.
What was that like, man?
Well, what was weird, Dick Cheney is to my right, and to my left is Mitch McConnell. And it's really almost more than you can bear. And I look to my right, and Cheney is laughing his tits off at my stuff. I mean, wow, slapping his knees and having the time of his fucking life. And all I'm thinking is, I am evil. And I'm waiting for the stents to pop and stuff. And then he's laughing his tits off, and half the audience is like, Mr. Black. He's like, pricks. And I'm dealing with that. And then I turn to the left, and Mitch McConnell, if I'm ever near that fucking son, I'm in a punch. I mean, you know, we're not supposed to be violent in what we say anymore.
Yeah,
that son of a bitch, I'm gonna punch in the face. I mean it. Besides, not his politics, I don't give a shit about it. But it's an audience member, and you're sitting there, fucking smile. Fucking pretend you're having a good time, you son of a bitch. You don't have to laugh. But he's just such a... And it was like he was holding a shit in or something. And I'd go from him back to him and back to him, and it was a horrifying experience.
That's so bizarre, because whenever comics are having like shitty sets, you always find that one audience member who really likes you. So every time you're like, this is going really bad, that guy still likes me. Your guy was Dick Cheney.
Dick Cheney.
So you had to, like, you had to shake hands with Dick Cheney.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a moral dilemma for me.
Nah, he's a guy. What he's in?
Well, no, he's not just a
now,
guy.
Now, Mitch McConnell, I'd have a goddamn dilemma. He got the joke.
I mean, you gotta shake his hand if Dick laughed the whole time.
And I'll tell you a really great Dick Cheney follow-up story. I am at a Larry King benefit, for, he's got a big, huge heart fund thing, and they buy hearts and shove them in people. They do something. And so I'm doing this event, and my mother and father are there. My mother, it is a moral thing for my mother, because Dick Cheney is in the other room. People are paying like $5,000 for a photo with Dick Cheney. They come over to me and say, would you like your photo taken with Dick Cheney? I turn to my mother and say, would you like your photo taken with Dick Cheney? I'm not getting my photo taken with that son of a bitch. Never. And then she says, and besides that, there's John McLaughlin of the McLaughlin Group was sitting 15 feet away. And she says, I got to get over to that son of a bitch and tell him what a turd he is. So I turn to my father and I say, would you like your picture taken with Dick Cheney? And he goes, great. And he pops up. So I now traipse into the room, and now it's Dick Cheney, his wife, Larry King, and his wife. And we come around the corner. My father is about 86 at the time, and his hearing is kind of shot, and he sees Larry King's wife for the first time. And at the top of his lungs goes, Jesus, I didn't know that Larry King married a shiksa. And that kind of takes the whole political thing out of the room.
It becomes a whole other ballgame. I would have an issue with that. He's not just a guy.
I mean, I wouldn't rush in a room to have my picture taken with him, but let's say I was at my table and kind of hammered and he sat down and somebody took a picture, I wouldn't say erase it. I'm not gonna pay anything, but if he's kind of half hammered and I'm half hammered and somebody takes it.
Well, that could be a good picture then.
Yeah, it'd be kind of hilarious for Facebook. You gotta think of the fun.
So you're allowed to meet Dick Cheney, but ironically.
Correct.
I see.
There
All right,
we go,
okay.
finally.
But he wasn't meeting ironically.
he wasn't.
I took the gig. I accepted the gig. As soon as you accept the gig, you accept the responsibility of the gig. There is nothing on any level to be gained in the universe or that moment in time for me to turn to Dick Cheney, who has risen, and at least showed up because Bush didn't fucking show up. That's the only reason I got this prick sitting there.
Plus, I would never be one of those people. I don't care who's in charge. I still, maybe this is like my Missouri hillbilly side, I still do respect the office.
So what, the president of Germany you had to respect the office even when Hitler was
If you're
there?
German.
Well, yeah. If you're German.
What about the Germans who said no? I don't respect it. That's wrong. That's not what Germany is.
Really?
You don't speak
really?
for
We're
it.
gonna
Well, aren't they the good guys?
We're gonna go down. Really? You know, Lou knows. There's nothing you can talk about World War II and the Germans that I don't know. This could be
Is that
another
true?
18 hours.
Seriously?
Yes, I just got the whole Nazi thing they advertise on TV, unseen footage. Oh, I mean, here he is at the Wolf's Lair. What? I never saw this shit. What? And now they've got interviews because the people are old enough in Germany. They finally, I think they think, fuck it, we're gonna die, so they're being honest. And now there's all these old Germans going, well, we were not telling the truth. We kind of thought he was awesome. We did. We were all in. We didn't like the Jews. We were sad about being German. He made us happy about being German. It was all great till it got weird.
I just have to say, talking about the Germans, I have no sense of humor when it comes to the Nazis, and I won't buy a German car.
I won't either.
Because they lost.
Just for the record, I drive a Jewish car.
Don't go down that road! Don't even go there, buddy! Fuck you! I used to like you, man!
Emery. Hey, we gotta go. You guys have been phenomenal. Give it up for Mr. Ron White. Thank you, buddy. The great Louis Black. Yeah. It was beautiful. Kathleen Madigan. My buddy Jamie Kilstein. Come back again. Hang out at the green room. See you later.